We've got this story from the Wall Street Journal. Kamala Harris struggling to break through with working class Democrat sphere. Indeed, my friends, in the crucial states that Harris needs to win, they're actually looking at internal polling suggesting she is down, heavily favoring Donald Trump. Now, with this story pushing through yesterday, updated at 7:55 a.m., I wonder if this is why we are seeing a major shift in the betting markets alongside the press run that was very bad. Very, very bad. Not so good for Kamala Harris. Pennsylvania is literally the keystone state. If Kamala Harris cannot win with working class voters in these states, namely white working class voters, that's it. Trump wins. There's a really funny meme that I saw from Political Compass memes where it showed a Kamala Harris ad with a white blonde woman with two blonde kids, and they had blue eyes. And they said she must be truly desperate if she's putting white people in her ads. The Wall Street Journal reports Democrats have privately grown worried about Kamala Harris's standing among working class voters in the crucial blue wall states, particularly in Michigan. Donald Trump has assiduously courted union members and non-college educated white voters with a message focused on high costs, manufacturing, and the threat of China to the U.S. economy. Senior Democrats, including Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, want a sharper economic appeal from Harris and have conveyed those concerns to her campaign. According to people familiar with the conversations, they would also like the vice president to spend more time campaigning in the state. Michigan Democrats have urged the campaign to make more overt appeals to auto workers and blue collar workers by emphasizing the administration's work to grow the industry and build new plants. Others want Harris to make a more populist pitch, a message that was central to appearances around the state last week by Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders and United Auto Workers President Shawn Fain. During an event in Grand Rapids on Sunday, Sanders pressed for progressive goals such as higher minimum wages and expansion of Social Security and higher taxes on the wealthy and corporations, all under the banner of the party's need to elect Harris and defeat Trump. We have got to understand the billionaire class today not only has enormous political power, and that includes both political parties, Sanders said. So one of the things that we have got to do is create a political movement in this country led by trade unions, which tells the billionaire class that we are tired of their greed. I got to tell you, my friends, the whole tax the rich thing, it don't fly. It's not real. Bernie Sanders, your shtick isn't going to work here. Kamala Harris, she comes out and they say, how are you going to pay the bill for everything you want to do? And she goes, we're going to make the wealthy pay their fair share. Yo, the occupied generation has grown up, lady. I remember this. If you taxed every billionaire 100%, you'd pay the U.S. Deficit down by like a 0.5% or some nonsense. Not even. The amount of money that exists among the wealthiest in America wouldn't even fund this country for like a week. You need the collective of all of the people of this country in order to fund this ridiculous deficit. And you want to know what's going on? That's why they hired 87,000 IRS agents. So you get to pay the bill. I warn you this, my friends, one day you're going to wake up, a letter in the mail from the IRS saying you owe $300. And you're going to say, I can't afford groceries. I'm struggling to pay rent, my mortgage, my car payment, my insurance, whatever it may be. And you say, how am I supposed to pay $300? Oh, good luck. Call a lawyer, I guess. Now, there are services that can help you even with $300, no matter how small it is. But think about the time it takes. Most people are going to say, I'll just pay it. I know a lot of people, they've super chatted. They have chatted on this show saying that they are getting surprise tax bills that they did not expect. There you go. 87,000 new IRS agents. Now, in the meantime, they say recent polling shows Harris and Trump essentially tied in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Winning the blue wall along the Nebraska 2nd Congressional District remains her strongest path to the 270 electoral votes. But I got to tell you, if they're tied, that means Trump is winning because you got a few factors. Polling favors the Democrats and Trump has got secret voters. You know, they say it's not true, but a lot of people don't want to admit that they are in favor of Donald Trump. I want to give a shout out to I'm a big fan of Danny Way. You know who Danny Way is? He is one of the most famous skateboarders ever. Danny Way gaps 70 feet on a skateboard, launches up a 20-foot vertical wall, 40 feet in the air, comes down, bashes his ankles on the ramp, front flips, crashes down, shattering the bone. I'm being a little exaggerating here, but breaks his leg, gets back up, does it again, and lands it. That's who that guy is. He recently came out on his Instagram saying, I will never stop fighting for Trump. Screw the BS and the haters. This is my guy. I was surprised to see it because I know too many pro skateboarders who are scared to speak up. And now we're starting to see people say, I'm done with this. But take a look at this. We got bad news here for Democrats. An internal poll done by Democrat Tammy Baldwin's Senate campaign last week showed Harris down by 3 percentage points in Wisconsin, while Baldwin was up by 2 points, according to a person familiar with the poll. The person said much of the narrowing is due to Republican strength with non-college educated men. Public polling has shown Harris with a slight lead in the state. Harris also hasn't matched President Biden's 2020 support from organized labor. While she has won backing from some influential unions, including the United Auto Workers and Service Employees Union International Union, others have withheld their support. The International Brotherhood of Teamsters declined to back either candidate, as did the International Association of Firefighters. Both endorsed Biden 4 years ago. And now they're looking at what Biden brings, and they're like, we ain't having none of this. Kamala Harris has been a disaster for this country. Even as VP, she's been doing a terrible job. And you only got to look at when her mouth opens. When she does more press, she goes down. And she keeps doing more and more press. She opens her mouth and then she goes down. Her polls start plummeting. Some state-level Teamsters organizations did not endorse Harris, including in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. The Harris campaign said she has regularly traveled to blue wall states and stressed the continuing outreach, including extensive advertising, that is focused on working-class voters. They also noted she has put out plans on issues such as price gouging and prescription drug prices that are aimed at these voters. The vice president made a manufacturing-focused economic speech in Pittsburgh last month. Republicans have targeted Harris over her past positions on EVs, electric vehicles, and on fracking. On electric vehicles, Harris said during her 2019 bid she wanted tougher emission standards. Well, I got bad news. The United Auto Workers, they are suffering. Michigan's already been in dire straits. The Rust Belt made cars. Now we're importing vehicles. We're sending auto manufacturing to Mexico. And with the increased emissions restrictions and pressure to produce EVs, these workers are losing their jobs. Not to mention automation is increasing. These people aren't going to vote for Kamala Harris. Now, far be it from me to be a Luddite. I do think we have to figure out ways to transition these organizations and companies so people don't lose their livelihoods. But I'm going to tell you this. Kamala Harris coming out and saying we want to get rid of fracking. We want to get rid of gasoline cars and go EV. You're talking about pipe fitters. Pipe Fitters Union. You're talking about Teamsters. You're talking about auto workers. And they're all going to say, you as president is the end of my family having food on the table. Good luck winning without the unions. But hey, maybe they don't need it because Democrats have shadow campaigns to assist. Trump advisor Corey Lewandowski said people around the country see Harris as the most radical, dangerous nominee of a major party in the history of our country. The people of Michigan know it. The people who work in the auto industry know it. Former Rep. Connor Lamb, who represented the Pittsburgh area district, said Harris has made headway, but still needs to argue her case to more moderate and independent voters in Western Pennsylvania. True persuasion of the last group we need, people who may vote for Republicans elsewhere on the ballot, I think is going to require more unfiltered messaging by the vice president. Town halls, interviews, Lamb said. The message is solid, but it's clear to me that there are still some skeptics who have to work harder to pull into our camp. My friends, every time Kamala Harris starts talking, her polls go down, her betting odds go down. So by all means, Connor Lamb, send in Kamala Harris to these town halls to open her mouth so we can see her polls go down. We can see her start declining and Trump will start going up. Trump doesn't even have to say anything. Trump's just standing there as Kamala Harris opens her mouth and then everything just turns up Donald Trump because she doesn't know what she's talking about. She has no plans. And it was clear when she cracked the beer and took that little sip, she doesn't have anything substantive to offer. Colbert asks her, what change do you bring if you're going to be the change candidate? Well, I'm not Joe Biden and I'm certainly not Donald Trump. Kay, you're a different person? No, you literally said nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, why should you watch Timcast? Well, I'm not Steven Crowder and I'm not Stick Sexenhammer and I'm not Cenk Uygur and I'm not Sam Cedar. Duh. Everybody knows that we are different people. I mean, it's a stupid thing to say outright. Kamala Harris is Kamala Harris. The question is, what policies will she enact? Nothing. So everybody who's witnessed this over the past 3.5 years, mark my words, you vote for Kamala and you will get the same thing, if not worse. Ask yourself this question. Can we as a nation wait as the conflict in the Middle East is escalating, as the conflict in Russia is escalating, as the conflict in the Red Sea directly involving the United States military is escalating, as as inflation is getting worse, as wages are not rising as fast as inflation, as the border is porous, as we have criminal gangs and cartels trafficking children, can we wait 4 more years? Sorry, but the answer is no. Now, you come to me and you say, I hate Donald Trump. I say, listen, man, you don't got to like the guy. You don't have to. You don't. And honestly, I'd take Dave Smith. I would. Not everybody agrees, but Dave Smith isn't the guy who's running. He did not run for the Libertarian ticket, and he wasn't available. What do we have? We have Donald Trump. But Trump has invited in Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. We have an eclectic bunch here, my friends. You know, Elad Eliyahu, who's a neocon, he comes on the show on IRL, and he says, no, I like Trump's policies. I don't like Tulsi Gabbard. I say, that's fine. I like Tulsi Gabbard's policies. I actually like Trump's policies, not as many as Elad likes, but I also like RFK Jr. on health. I think you vote for Donald Trump, you are getting a unity coalition. Trump may be somebody you don't like. Yeah, well, RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard help fill in that gap, something fierce. Not to mention, I'm a big fan of Elon Musk. So let's get there, my friends. Smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with everyone you know. We really do appreciate it. We got many, many more segments coming up. We have a lot more to talk about. Let's see what we got over in the old, what do we have here? FEMA's plans to tout LGBT community for disaster preparedness. Is that what you thought? That's where we're going next, my friends. A lot of stories to cover today, so smash that like button and share the show. Follow me on X and Instagram. For those watching live, we will get your super chats now.